Ladies and gentlemen, Street Talk and other stuff. Maddog Magnotti on this fine morning in December. It's getting to be Christmas. What is it? Christmas is 3 weeks from, or 4 weeks from today. What is it, Caitlin? How many? Hold up fingers. She doesn't know. My producer doesn't know. But Christmas is coming. In a couple weeks, it's going to be Christmas. And it falls on a Tuesday, I believe. So that's cool. It's great. Nice to have you with me today. Did you see the Seahawks game yesterday? A little bit sloppy, but we won, which is important. It's very uncomfortable, though, seeing Richard Sherman in a Winers uniform. He didn't really do much yesterday, but you know what I mean. But, hey, nice to have you with me. I got a great show, got a great guest, but just a couple of things. You know, it was my 12-year anniversary of retiring from the police department 12 years ago. But I just remember that I once arrested this guy around the Christmas season, and I went to court with him, and his defense attorney gets up and very self-righteously says, "My client was arrested only because he was doing his Christmas shopping early." And the judge said, "Well, that's not a crime. Sergeant Magnotti, can you explain this?" I said, "Yeah, maybe he was doing it early, but it was actually before the store opened." And then another Christmas morning, I had to work Christmas. You know, cops, we have to do that. You know, I got a call of a domestic dispute. That's pretty sad, people fighting on Christmas morning. And when I get there, the husband's kind of sitting in the chair looking dumb, and the wife's crying. And I said, "What's the problem here?" She says, "Well, I tried to give him a hint that I wanted a new car for Christmas. I said I wanted something that would go from 0 to 100 in 4 seconds. I said, "Well, what's the problem?" She said, "Well, he bought me a scale." So the husband looked at her and said, "So what is it that you want for Christmas?" And she said, "I want a divorce." And he said, "Well, can't you think of anything cheaper?" Okay, Street Talk and other stuff. Maddog Magnotti, you have to apologize, but I just cracked myself up. Hey, you stick around. We got a good show for you. We will be right back.
Hey everyone, did you know that the NCW Life channel is North Central Washington's go-to source for news? No matter how you prefer to view your news, NCW Life has you covered. Watch the evening news weeknights on TV, stream it, read it at ncwlife.com, or catch the latest news by following us on Facebook. Stay informed with local news, sports, weather, and shows featuring local people and events. NCW Life, a reflection and a spotlight of the communities we call home.
What's your auto mocha emergency?
It's a Frappuccino mocha with whip.
The espresso shakes are my most favorite because I can get any flavor. Peanut butter chocolate Frappuccino.
Definitely the espresso shakes.
My favorite is the mocha Frappitas.
A peach Red Bull.
NCW Life Channel is proud to present the Spotlight on Business. We're going behind the scenes to bring you the story of local businesses throughout North Central Washington. How did they get started, and why are they so successful? We'll answer these and other questions each week with Spotlight on Business, Sundays through Fridays on the NCW Life Channel.
Okay, we're back. Thanks for coming back. I am very proud to introduce my guest today, Misty Viebrock. Misty.
How are you?
Good to have you.
Good to be here.
Misty and I are old friends. Misty actually started as a dispatcher at the Wenatchee Police Department. Now, how long ago did you say?
1998.
1998.
Yes.
So I'd actually been working there for a while.
Right.
So I was a sergeant when you got there.
Right.
So you were very impressed with me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it lasted about 10 minutes. So.
I actually didn't start down there till I think May-ish of 1999 because I was hired as a City of Wenatchee employee, but we sat next to the sheriff's office. and a fire and EMS dispatcher, and separate from the Wenatchee Police dispatchers. But we cross-trained, moved down there in '99 and cross-trained, and so then I became a Wenatchee Police dispatcher and continued to dispatch for fire and EMS calls.
Cool. Now, did you have dispatch training before you started working for us, or was this your first time, you know?
No, this was the first time.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
What made you want to get into that particular field?
Well, here's a really funny story about this. So I went to college for a little while, was going to be a stenographer, a courthouse stenographer, but I recognized really early on that you have to be really quiet, and I'm not a quiet person, so I didn't want to sit in a room and not talk to people, so I knew that I'm a chatty person. So came back home and tested to be a 911 operator, and when I went in to interview, the fire chief said, "Now, Misty, you recognize this is not Rescue 911, you know, the TV show," and I literally sat there and thought, oh, that's kind of why I am interviewing. I want to be like Rescue 911, you know, anyway, it was great. So anyway, but I still wanted to do the job. I just didn't realize it wasn't as...
Well, yeah, a lot of kids say to me now, what do you want to do? Well, I want to be in, you know, like those guys on, what's that crime show? Crime Scene Detectives.
Yeah.
CSI.
Yeah,
Is
CSI.
That what it is? I want to be one of those guys on CSI.
Yeah.
I want to say, you know, you don't just walk into that job, okay? All right, but the reason I wanted to have Misty on today is because she is the current operations manager and soon to be the executive director of RiverCom, which is our emergency services dispatch agency for Chelan and Douglas County.
Yes.
And you folks may not have a lot of contact with RiverCom, but it is a very important element in public safety in our area. And this young lady here, who I'm very proud to call my friend, is going to be the grand poobah of that organization. And this is great. You know, I'm really proud of you for getting there.
Thank you. Thank you. It's, you know, it's been a long career, and I've just always looked to climb the ladder and improve and be part of the decision-making teams. And you know, I'm really excited about it. I think it's beneficial that I've grown up in the trenches. You know, I've been a dispatcher. I've missed out on the family special times because we work shift work and overtime.
Yeah, you guys too. You know, holidays and weekends. Not the same for us as it was for the regular, you regular folk out there.
Exactly.
But tell us a little bit about yourself personally. You know, family, education-wise. You know.
So I was born and raised in Mansfield, a little town northeast of here, and not Manson. People always confuse it with Manson, but born and raised there. My family still lives there, my mom and dad and brother. And
so you're a wheat girl, right?
Yes. My parents aren't farmers. My mom grew up in Bridgeport, and her family is farming, but I married a high school sweetheart. His name is Misty Viebrock, but he goes by Owen, so not to confuse anything.
And he's a nice guy too.
He is. He's a fourth-generation wheat farmer from Waterville, so that's where I currently live, and that's probably where I'll end up living for the rest of my life. You can't move the farm. He's also a Douglas County PUD commissioner, and we have 2 kids. We have a beautiful daughter, Bailey, who's 14, freshman in high school, and suited up for varsity basketball this week.
Oh, cool.
And we have a 9-year-old son who's in 3rd grade and also playing basketball down here in East Wenatchee and Chelan soon, so they keep us active.
And Owen's also a reserve officer for
Douglas County Sheriff's Office.
That's how I met him. He was a reserve officer for Wenatchee PD. Yeah, I knew you guys before you got married. So.
Yes.
I was at their wedding.
He did our pre-marriage counseling.
That's right. I did. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Lots of stuff. Yeah.
So your marriage is good?
Really good.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, dispatch. How long have you been dispatching?
I am just finishing my 21st year.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when did you become operations manager?
So. 2013, October of 2013. I just celebrated 5 years in that role. Yeah. And have overseen the dispatch operations for the last 5 years, managing about 30 dispatch and dispatch supervisors. So there's about 20, to be fully staffed right now, there's 26 dispatchers and, 24 dispatchers and 6 supervisors.
Okay, and those are people, they're working different shifts and that type of stuff. Like how many dispatchers will be on duty? Like how many are there right now?
Right now we have, we're about 5 to 6 dispatchers a day. They do everything, so we don't have separated call takers. So all 5 to 6 employees answer 911 and business lines, and we don't know where these calls are coming from. But we our primary staffing is 5 to 6 dispatchers.
Okay, and you're handling all emergency services, you're handling fire,
Yes.
aid calls.
Yep.
Calls for
Law
police service,
enforcement.
that type of
Yes.
thing. And you
Yep.
do that for everybody in Chelan, Douglas County.
Everybody for Chelan, Douglas County.
Except for the State Patrol.
That's
right?
correct.
Because the State Patrol has their own dispatch.
That is
system.
correct.
Okay.
But different from some other agencies, we are the primary 911 answering
Sure.
point. We don't give any of our area away to the State Patrol to receive those 911 calls before us.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
All right. So how does somebody
we
get to the
transfer.
State Patrol if they want to talk to the State Patrol?
Yeah, so they can either call them directly, or
Yeah.
if they are on the highway and have a 911 emergency, we will just transfer them down to the State Patrol
Oh, okay.
office.
All right.
So yeah.
Okay, so you've been doing operations manager for about 6 years now.
Yes.
Okay, and precisely, just what's the practice of that job? What did your day look like when
So-
you came in and you were managing operations?
Right.
You know?
So lots of facilitating meetings with like our law user group. We have law user group meetings so that we can come together and talk about policy changes. So we work with law enforcement and the records agencies to go over any records issues. And then we also have fire and EMS TAC meetings to,
Yeah.
you know, just facilitating the meetings with our user agencies, assisting the floor operations with any investigations, you know, any citizen complaints, which
Sure.
I'm proud to say there aren't very many
Yeah.
of those. There haven't been very many of those, and I think that
Cool.
points directly to our staff.
Oh, very good, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you ever get the opportunity still to just sit down and answer the phone and get on the mic?
Yeah.
and-
You know, when I first
Still do the work, so to
yeah,
speak,
exactly. When I first was promoted, I tried to be very active out there because I think it's very important
Sure.
when you make decisions for your staff that you understand still what they have to go through. So in the beginning, I did it a lot more regularly, but I just as in the last year have plugged in, and it was kind of funny, Mike, because I hadn't worked for probably a year, and I plug in and I'm just helping. I take over the Douglas County Sheriff's Radio, and within like 15 minutes of taking over, a unit gets into a pursuit, of course.
Oh, yeah, and you're
But
handling
I'm
that,
telling
right?
you, just like getting on a bicycle, I just, you know, when you do it for so many years, it really is like, it's like getting, you know, back onto a bicycle. I absolutely love dispatching, and I really miss it. I really do miss it a lot, but you know, I never brought it up in my interview. I actually had kept it as something that I wanted to say, but how cool would it be? I mean, what other center in Washington State could the director come in, put on a headset, and actually help their dispatch? Because I know I could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's good. But, you know, you're right, though. That's one thing that was an issue with people who wanted to get promoted.
Yes.
Okay. They had to realize that they couldn't do the same job anymore. They had
Right.
different responsibilities. And you remember Kevin Dresker, of course.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay. Kevin was a guy both of us worked with. He got hired a few months after me in early 1987. Moved up to sergeant and eventually became captain, and now he's chief over in Port Townsend.
Oak Harbor, I think.
Oak Harbor, something like that. But I remember when he got promoted to sergeant, his guys got into a pursuit with somebody there in support of the county, and they were out in Malaga chasing this guy through an orchard, and Kevin's just walking around the street like this.
Because he wants to go
'Cause
after
he
him so
wanted to
bad.
go out. And I said, well, welcome to supervision,
Yes,
Sergeant Dresker. You
right.
know, and I kind of laughed at him. And
Yeah.
I won't repeat what he said to me under his breath.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing. A lot of guys don't realize that, you know, I mean, you do have to give up
Yes.
part of what you love.
Yes, you do.
To be responsible for the other
Yeah.
stuff. So,
Yeah.
but that's good. All
Yeah.
right. Now, it's interesting. Tell me what you think about this. When I first started, they would occasionally have us cops come up and dispatch, fill in for dispatchers who were on
Yeah.
lunch or on vacation. And there were even times we would put in and work an 8-hour shift as dispatch.
Right?
And the attitude used to be that nobody could be a dispatcher except the former cop. You want to respond to that? You know,
Nobody could be a dispatcher except for the former cop.
that was the attitude that used to be.
Yeah.
You know, but
Well,
it's nonsense.
it's not.
Of course.
Yeah. So, you know, things have changed so much
Yeah.
since even when I interviewed back in the day. We actually have public safety testing,
Right.
do our beginning phases. So a person contacts public safety testing or looks at their website and then goes to a location to test. And you can test for many agencies all over
Sure.
Washington State. You know, you just check which ones you want to, you know, send the testing results to.
That's to actually get the job, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's to then they send us their information of who passed the test, and then we reach out to them by sending them a letter inviting them to apply for us.
Sure.
And then after that, you know, then we go into it. Mike, it takes so long to get hired.
Yeah.
It's about a 3 to 6 month process.
Yeah, and it's not the same work.
No.
Dispatching and police work does not necessarily, you know, they mesh, but it's not transferable
Right.
to another. But hey, look, we got to take a break. So stick around. There's some other stuff I want to talk about. I'm talking with Misty Viebrock, who is the current operations manager and soon to be the executive director of RiverCom, our emergency services dispatch agency. Have I got that right?
You do.
Okay,
yes.
for Chelan and Douglas County. But we got to take a break, but we'll come back with Misty in a minute, so stick around. We'll be right back.
Collins Fashions has your lifestyle in mind. Casual to special occasions, head-to-toe styling, foundations to shoes, jewelry, scarves, handbags, awesome gifts too. Denim brands from Liverpool, Not Your Daughter's Jeans, French dressing, all fits and sizes. Slacks from Joseph Ribkoff, Renoir, Tribal, and Elliott Lauren. Easy care and flattering. Stylish sweaters from Icelandic, Curio, and Tribal. Great selection of cashmere sweaters and scarves too. We always have you in mind at Collins Fashions in downtown Wenatchee.
Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house, featuring great family dining in downtown Chelan. We've got burgers, pub fare, and the best barbecue around. Try one of our award-winning sauces made fresh here in-house. So grab the whole gang and come on down. Stormy Mountain Brewing. Beer, barbecue, friends, and beer.
If you are looking for dependable car service and repair, visit the good guys at Quick Lube and Tune. They've been keeping cars and trucks in the Wenatchee Valley running smooth for 35 years. Quick Lube and Tune is your hometown shop for a 10-minute oil change, complete tune-ups, alignments, brakes, mufflers, air conditioning service, and more. Get more life out of your vehicle by bringing it to the local guys you can trust at Quick Lube and Tune on South Wenatchee Avenue.
Eastern Washington. It's a great place to call home and a great time to own a home. It's the ideal place to lay down roots for your family and your future. Gisa Credit Union thinks Eastern Washington is a great place to own a home too. That's why we offer all kinds of home loans with personal attention every step of the way. We're your home. For home loans, we're Gisa Credit Union.
Street Talk and other stuff with Mike Maddog Magnotti. I'm talking with Misty Viebrock, an old friend today, who is going to be the executive director for RiverCom. Okay, but you started as a humble dispatcher,
yes.
and eventually you moved. You were a City Wenatchee employee, but
yep.
working at the sheriff's office,
yep.
and you moved over to our little one-room
yep.
dispatch center over Wenatchee PD.
Yep.
How have things evolved since then?
Oh. Man, have they ever.
You know, I mean, not just in facility, but in training
protocols.
And experience and practice protocol, right?
So, Mike, when we first started, literally, there weren't a lot of response plan standards. So when somebody called for and had a medical emergency, for example, let's say it was even a cardiac arrest,
sure.
we'd pretty much say, we got it, we'll be on our way.
Right.
And there wasn't a lot of pre-hospital support for the public as far as CPR, and there was definitely nothing standardized. So actually, Captain Edgar Reinfeld was a dispatcher at that time with me, and I would say that was probably around 2003, right before RiverCom opened. He and I, or it could have been sooner than that, but he and I actually started standardizing the protocols actually at Wenatchee PD.
You guys took on the initiative to do that yourselves?
We did.
Good for you.
I know, and you know, Edgar and I, sometimes we even get a little teary-eyed over that because I feel like it really, it drove where we are today.
Yeah.
It was a start of getting to where we are today.
Cool, and I want to reiterate, Edgar Reinfeld was a dispatcher, originally started with Wenatchee PD. Now he's captain, and he is a great cop.
He's amazing.
Okay, I love that guy.
Yep.
Always loved him.
Yep, he's
Always
great. He's really good to dispatch as well. So,
yeah.
After we left after we left Wenatchee and we went to RiverCom in 2004, I started to implement response plans. I entered all of the data that we had in the notebooks, and I put it into our CAD system so that at the stroke of a finger, we would have a response plan that would be standardized. It would be based on the chief complaint, so the nature of the call, and the address.
And you did this yourself?
I did,
and
yeah.
CAD, of course, means computer-aided dispatch.
Sorry, yes, I'm bad at acronyms.
That's okay. That's
so
fine.
yeah,
That's
it's our Spillman computer-aided dispatching. So it's the computer that we use, the software we use to process fire, EMS, and law incidents. So with the help of our fire and EMS user groups, I took that information and put it into our CAD system. And then we had standard protocols and response standards for those agencies. So at the same...
And that's amazing. Good for
Yeah,
you. Did anyone give you any grief about that and say, don't do it or we don't like it?
No. In fact, it was probably...
Different than my career.
It was probably one of those areas that I'm not even sure the public or the users knew there was a need because it was so early on, you know. Right. But it definitely, for cross-training, when we had new employees come in and training them up on how to dispatch, it was so much more better.
Sure.
Or better.
Yeah, I understood what you were saying.
Yeah, okay.
It's mo better.
It's mo better.
She's from Hawaii.
Yeah. And you know, it's just evolved from that. I'm so proud in the last 3 years we now have technology and interface between our Spillman CAD, our computer for entering calls.
Right.
We have an interface between that and our radio system now. So we have cut down the call processing times by over like 1.5 minutes.
Really?
On most cases, we're dispatching it out within 30 seconds of the call, from the time you pick the call up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because that's incredible, because people, you know, you think about it, you call the cops, you're not calling to invite them to a birthday party, okay? If you're calling for an ambulance, you want somebody there now.
Yes.
And I know what's been frustrating in the past is what's your name, what's your address. I mean, if you've cut it down to that short of a time, that's really, really important for public service.
Absolutely.
People are getting the help they're calling for rather than having to get a whole bunch of information.
Absolutely.
So if somebody calls, you know, and, you know, hey, my husband cut himself, he's bleeding, you guys, and not just sending aid, can start telling the people actually what they should be doing on the scene, right?
Yes, absolutely. And also, just in the past couple of years, we changed the protocols and guidelines that we were using, and we started using King County's criteria-based dispatching.
Okay, what?
King County.
Oh, King County. Okay,
yes, right. King County. So these protocols allow us to go straight to CPR. In fact, every call that we take is presumed to be a cardiac arrest until proven otherwise.
Really? Okay,
yes.
That's interesting.
So it gives the dispatchers a lot of ability to think outside of a script, and recognize agonal breathing or agonal respirations really fast, so we can get hands on the chest a lot faster.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to start laughing.
Yeah, I was wondering what was funny.
Occasionally I have called to say, hey, there's an accident here or something like that. So as soon as I'm calling dispatch, I'm calling, it's Magnotti, he might be having a heart attack.
Yeah. Magnet, I assume you would do that.
Good. Yeah. No, I'm not going to do that. Okay, so how your progress to the profession? I mean, how do you feel about it? I mean, you've done really well.
Aww.
I'm really, really proud of you.
Thank you.
You know, because you were always very pleasant to work with. You know, I think we had a couple. You know, a couple things, but that's more because I'm a jerk. Okay, you're very sweet. So.
I've forgotten those if we had those. Okay. I'm sad that you remember them.
I probably make them up in my mind.
Yeah, probably.
But you know, how do you feel your progress through the profession has been?
I would just say that it's just in my blood. I have so much passion for the 911 world and what the big picture of what we do for our communities. We just are those unsung heroes. We don't get to have a lot of closure of what happens, but we're so important to. We're so important. The 911 industry nationwide is so important. You know, nobody can turn a wheel unless it comes through us first.
Right, very true.
You know, and so how we process these calls and how quickly we process them and effectively, and how we communicate with the public, I mean, it's just critical. It's critical. And then how we work with our user agencies, you know,
yeah, like the police department, the fire department.
Yeah, but how competent are we with them?
Sure.
And you know, the police world has changed drastically.
Yeah,
the nation is very against our officers.
Thank God I'm out of it. Okay, well, Misty, I appreciate it very much.
Yes.
Glad you're being here. Now, we're going to come back with a closing word from you in a minute, but this is Street Talk and Other Stuff with Maddog Magnotti, my good friend Misty Viebrock, who I'm very proud of. She's going to be Executive Director of RiverCom, the Emergency Services Dispatch Agency. This is what, January 6th?
January 3rd.
Okay.
January 2nd.
Party?
I don't know.
You know, that kind of thing?
Probably not. I'd like to just silently get in there. Yeah.
Should have a party. Okay, but hey,
Okay.
you stick around. Street Talk and other stuff. We'll be right back.
Tacos Chava has something new. Customers at Tacos Chava say it's the best Mexican food around. Nachos, enchiladas, tortas, ensaladas, and introducing camarones in many styles. You'll love the fresh salsa bar with so much selection. Are you ready for Tacos Chava? Find them at 2 great locations, the Wenatchee Valley Mall and Eniac. Tacos Chava, tan delicioso.
Only one country could build a truck like this. Designed in California, engineered in Michigan, tested in Arizona, and assembled in Mississippi. Powered by Cummins of Indiana. The all-new Nissan Titan. It's an American classic. Is it on your list? Come down and see us at Town Nissan behind Costco in East Wenatchee.
I'm Jenny Rojanasatian, and this is Guada TV. Every week we will be bringing you a first look at North Central Washington business, tech, and education news. You'll hear from local influencers and innovators who live right here in the Valley. Together, we'll discuss hot topics, current events, and resources that can support your business, our schools, and this community. Join me every week, and let's get inspired.
Hey everyone, did you know that the NCW Life channel is North Central Washington's go-to source for news? No matter how you prefer to view your news, NCW Life has you covered. Watch the evening news weeknights on TV, stream it, read it at ncwlife.com, or catch the latest news by following us on Facebook. Stay informed with local news, sports, weather, and shows featuring local people and events. NCW Life, a reflection and a spotlight of the communities we call home.
Okay, we're back. Street Talk and other stuff. Maddog Magnotti. Now, I asked Misty, who is going to be the executive director of the RiverCom agency, RiverCom Emergency Service Agency, just to take a minute or so to say what she feels is important. And you know what, folks? Emergency services are something we have to pay for, okay? And she didn't come on with the intent to talk about this, but I encouraged her to because there's a vote coming up that she's going to tell you about. So go ahead. The floor is yours. So.
Okay. Well,
because I think this is important, so I think you should share this.
I agree, and thank you for the segue. In 2009, when RiverCom was formed, we threw all this equipment from all agencies together to try to make it work.
Right.
We have an antiquated radio system, so and lots of dead areas still in Chelan and Douglas counties where we are unable to speak to our responders, which is critical.
Oh, scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been in those situations, yeah.
So in 2009, we had to go out to the voters to ask if to support a sales tax, a 1/10 of 1% sales tax to help build out this radio infrastructure and replace antiquated equipment inside the facility, our CAD systems, our computers that work 24/7, and we just have an amazing community of support. The measure has to pass in both Chelan and Douglas counties, and it passed with over 60% in both counties. That measure, that sales tax, it expires in December of 2020, so we will be going back out to the voters this year in 2019.
Okay, so when will that be on the ballot?
Well, that's a choice or something that the board will have to decide as to when.
Because this is going to be like a special election?
Yes, it will. It will definitely run in this next year in 2019, and will have to be voted in, approved, and then we will start reaping that fund in 2020.
Okay. Well, what I want you to do is, in plenty of time, let me know when that's coming up.
Okay.
And we will talk about it again.
That sounds great.
But hey, Misty, thanks for being here.
Thank you very much.
Now, this is something important. This vote's going to be coming up. This is a very important service. So, but we'll talk about it more. But I want to thank Misty for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming in. I'm going to have a great guest next week who's going to talk about the holiday of Hanukkah, which we're in the midst of right now and you don't know about. So, Street Talk and other stuff. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.